So, without further ado, let's go into this. The title of this is Atheists and Their Statements of Faith. Now, they will claim that they are purists, that they have no faith. You know, what do they believe in? So, we want to dive into this. Again, this is Dr. Dan Mason, PhD, Public Policy Administration, with a concentration in criminal justice. So I look at things differently. I'm looking for the evidence. Um, what people don't understand, the scientific model can be applied from any angle. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know when a rocket blows up. And you don't need to be a biologist to know when someone is fabricating the evidence. That's what we go at. So as I address these issues, I get a lot of feedback, and got one this morning, and I did a little response, and I'll be posting that later, but I wanted to do a little video here too. All right, so I have been asking atheists and those who believe in abiogenesis and evolution the most straightforward question that I can, yet they still fail to answer me. That question is this: can abiogenesis and evolution and biological evolution be investigated and evaluated using the scientific method, and if so, why? What they don't know, these internet atheists, they don't know the difference between the scientific method when it's used for soft science, which is abiogenesis, historical science, and hard science. And this has been known for years. A lot of things is talked among scientists, but they don't always bring it out in public. All right. So grab your popcorn. I had a response today, like I said, that they say that there is no metaphysical world. That is a truth statement. When you make a truth statement, you need to have facts. The atheists, and I say that loosely, the atheists are no better at understanding the world than the non-atheists. Some are educated in certain areas, but they all fall short. And this is what we're coming to. All right. What I've been getting is attacks and not answers. So I say to them, you can or you do not know how to answer. That is clear. When they attack you, they are deflecting so they don't have to answer you. They're trying to get underneath your skin and all that sort of thing. All these primal kindergarten variety attacks. When they do, and they make these statements about the no metaphysical world, their own statement collapses under their own assumptions. And they don't understand that abiogenesis, origin of life through the natural world, is full of assumptions and based on assumptions. Assumptions upon assumptions. If this is not God of the gap, we'll get to that later. Just answer the question. Can it be? If not, why? Admit that you don't know. But they can't do that because of pride. And we know because of the creator, when he speaks of pride, we understand their downfall and their trembling. They're tripping over their own feet. Right. They claim there is no there's no metaphysical world, while simultaneously making a metaphysical claim, a statement beyond science, declaring that only material explanations are valid in is itself a metaphysical proposition, stance, a position. It is not a scientific conclusion. They cannot scientifically prove that there's nothing outside of the material world. It is a philosophical rule, a theoretical rule imposed on science. They oppose limitation. They walk around with blinders on, like a child that says, "You can't see me, you can't see me." It is not a scientific conclusion. It is a philosophical rule imposed on science. Science declares physical, describes, excuse me, physical processes. Science does not rule on what can or cannot exist beyond the material physical. So their very statement crumbles because they are going outside of science, because it's their belief. Saying only the material world is real is not an experiment. It is your flawed understanding and it's your flawed worldview. Thanks for Patrick for joining. All right. They come across and say, prove God exists. That is a category error we'll get into in a minute. All right. Abiogenesis and macroevolution. They say, which is very silly, they demand that God must be shown. This is a tactic. It's deflecting again because they can't answer the first question that I brought up, which is, can you investigate abiogenesis and evolution, macro, even with the scientific method? And showing that variations take place within a kind or within a species is, we all agree on that. I don't care, and you can do this, and I have done it mathematically. It's not enough time, even with your, okay, you got 14 billion years. So, it's not enough time in the known universe. So that's the beautiful part about science. Math is not science, but you cannot do science without math. Please explain to me how you can. All right. Misunderstood each category. God, by definition, is not a physical object inside the known universe. Demanding a physical demonstration of a non-physical claim is a category error in which they make many. It is like demanding a ruler measurement of justice, love, or consciousness. Those ideas are real, yet they are not test tube objects. You cannot weight love, cannot measure love. You cannot not weigh truth and measure truth. Their reality is established by rational, theoretical, and experimental evidence, not laboratory synthesis. You cannot make them in the laboratory. Now, natural selection explains variation in the kind, like I said earlier. All right. Abiogenesis and microevolution are not settled facts in the way gravity or thermodynamics are. The origin of life has never been experimentally demonstrated. The Miller-Urey experiment did not do that. And I've spoken on it and I've written on it here, and we'll do it again. No laboratory has ever produced a living cell, a coded genetic information or genetic information, or a self-replicating biological system from non-living chemicals. What they have done is taken industrial strength chemicals, because they will do a experiment. They're isolated. They will remove they will bring in precursors. They will remove anything that is harmful or will collapse the experiment, and then go say, voila, we did it. So we can go and get these industrial. We proved this. It will be 99.99999% error, but they get 0.1%, and they go with that 0.1%. That's how their science works. Because even the scientists have a faith-based reality when it comes to this sort of thing. So again, George Ward, Francis Crick, Eugene Koonin, and Paul Davies have all acknowledged in print that the origin of life remains unexplained, and in Crick's words, that is appears at the moment to be almost a miracle. Their word, not mine. That is not ignorance that they're speaking from. This is knowledge from scientists. I don't care if it's 70s, 80s, or 90s, or 2000. Nothing has eclipsed those statements. This is on the scientific record. Yet, those, I call them internet atheists, bring forth doubt in anything that they can't touch, smell, or feel here, but yet they believe in something that they cannot produce through science. At the time, they, I guess, deemed themselves greater than the scientists because it is their belief and they cannot fall back on it because they're lose ground. Then they say belief in God is as a cult or an imaginary friend. Natural selection, going back to that, explains variation after life already exists. So they're on first base. The ball has been thrown. They made, hit in center field or left field or whatever. They made it to first base. How? They can't explain how. They're there, so they go there. All right, so we'll stick with that. But it does not explain the origin of life, the origin of genetic code, or the origin of consciousness. Treating it as if it does is a theoretical extrapolation, not an experimental demonstration. Their extrapolation then functions as the real metaphysical move in their position. They needed magic to get to first base in abiogenesis and evolution. They don't know how they got there. They can't explain it. But they're there, and now they want to go for the home run. Control, but they lie. If they take a life, man, they gotta pay. So what I say is materialism is ruled by assumptions. Evolution, abiogenesis is ruled by assumptions. A lot of assumptions. Laboring belief in God as a cult or imaginary friend is not an argument, it is rhetoric. It avoids addressing the actual theoretical questions. Where did biological information come from? Why does a rational mind exist in a material universe? Why do objective morals, obligation exist at all? What is greater than, what is greater than what I want, you want, that we can agree on? Why? How is that? They will use the magical word evolution, and we'll speak on evolution as a magical word later. They take the word evolution, and as you look at it, as you see it, you see that it is magical because it has no boundaries in today's scientific and or common usage. Why does mathematics map reality so precisely? You go as far as to the gene, to the atom, you go out to the universe. Math rules. Math, they say, because they have to, it's not science. I tell you, you cannot do math. You cannot do science without math. All right. This has been short, but thank Patrick and those that have joined. Just want to point out their stance on materialism does not answer these questions that I pose. It assumes them in a way. assumption upon assumption. So the irony is this: they accuse others, like myself, of metaphysical beliefs while standing entirely on an unproven metaphysical foundation of their own. They believe in something they cannot prove. Their belief that matter is all that exists, that information arose from non-information. Again, that information arose from non-information, and that reason emerged from non-reason. That is not science. That is their faith, the person in the lab coat. Like I say, the atheists and the materialists, they have their own high priest. So again, this is short, but thanks everyone. Please like, please share, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Again, thanks, Patrick, for staying around. And that is it. God bless. What if they relapse? What if they